I've made a couple changes. I've added Smart Shot here. See what would happen. And because I'm using a scoped weapon anyway, right? So why not? Let's go in here, use my Psycho buff. I'm also not using baubles or anything like that, or any food at the moment. No food buffs. So this is just sort of raw tech. I had really good damage on the previous run with this setup. It's because I stayed in out of danger. Build up my tenderizer stacks. If I can unload this clip, then that's 14. Well, 14 on the base weapon damage. Okay. Oops. There we go. See that? 7,400? Not bad. And then I went into danger there. So 58 seconds. The last one was 46 seconds. I'll do it again.
Unsafe levels. Security bunker online. Take shelter immediately.
Oh, this is with, I made one little change. I also put, not that it should make any much of a difference, very minor. This has troubleshooters on it, not furious. Because it's 9 stacks, which is 45% more damage. This is 5% more damage. This is a weapon dedicated to just killing this one boss, basically. It's not, you know, general use or whatever. But it does do quite well with other enemies. Right? You just have to be close to them. Okay, so reloaded. Those adrenaline stacks are going to fall off, or the kill streak stacks. Those will drop off. I do have adrenal reaction, which is taking advantage of that by the time I start the fight. So you can ignore the kill streak stacks. I was getting over 7,000 with Furious. I just decided, well, let's just try Troubleshooter and see if that extra little 5%. Because now I'm dealing with, you know, just small amounts of extra damage here and there. Whoops. Learn to jump. Learn to jump. Okay, this weapon is reloaded. That weapon is reloaded. Its repair status. It's pretty good. I will take a Psycho buff, assuming I still have any. And I have 6 of them, okay. Need to make some more. It'd be nice to take Berry Mentats instead for extra int. Not for the damage, just for the XP. See if we can get this below 50 seconds again. Green means go. The green pumps on the weapon. I just need to remember to scope in on the second weapon more quickly next time. Come on, dump the whole weapon. There we go. Okay, swapped and scoped in, and 7,200. It is jumpy, which is annoying, but you notice I only used about half the clip. It's pretty amazing. 50 seconds. So, jump up, hit the button again, jump back down. So maybe within a minute, you know, using the trick. I'll show you what I'm doing here as far as gear goes. People are always like, what are you doing? What are you? I always think I'm showing, but maybe I'm not showing enough. It's Vulcan armor. That doesn't matter. Honestly, it doesn't, because I'm not using AP. So, you know, just use whatever power armor you can get a hold of. I mean, Vulcan is probably the best resistances for this, but it's not required. Just whatever you can get. So the first weapon is just to build stacks of tenderizer. I tried a pepper shaker and it just didn't do as good a job. I think because it's noisy, maybe. But this is very quiet. It's not a stealth, very quiet. And my theory is that it actually helps the mob lose where I am. Now, it does have Furious on it. I don't know if those Furious stacks stay. Maybe they're staying. I should actually watch. But maybe the Furious stack on here stay as I'm swapping. So the fact that this one has troubleshooters, whoops, is just sort of bonus on top of that. Maybe that's sort of a fun little thing I figured out. Okay, so first weapon, that's the first weapon. Most of this doesn't matter. Maybe the Furious. The crippling is there in the hopes that it cripples him faster when he bounces things off of me. Stabilizers is there just so that, so that there's less recoil as I'm firing. On this weapon, in the morning, 5 in the morning, so I'm sort of like half awake. Troubleshooters, extra damage against robots, rapid. Try to get as many shots off during the taking one for the team 10-second window when he stops firing on me. Perception, just in the hope aim better. Pinpointers, more damage to the chest. Prime capacitor is higher damage. Aligned flamer barrel, obviously it's a flamer. Aligned is a good one for, steadiness. Standard grip, sadly, I don't have the stabilized grip on there. I wish I did. Vision scope doesn't increase AP cost now, sadly, but it does let me scope in. And that lets me proc this card. Smart Shot. Deal 25% weak spot damage while aiming a scoped weapon. So yeah, I do have to aim for this to kick in. I am still using Center Masochist, Tank Killer, Tormentor, Number Cruncher. These are all the damage cards. This one right here should also be kicking in because he's crippled, right? I've crippled his shield. And maybe I'm crippling his chest as well very, very quickly. Riser, of course, increasingly stacking damage. Strange in numbers, because I'm mutated and those effects do count a little bit. Let's see. Most of this is just quality of life and survival. Nerd Rage does kick in a little bit, but phase 2, I'm typically at high health, so it shouldn't really matter all that much. Science, because it's an energy weapon, it does add a little bit. Well, it adds a considerable amount, actually. So it's not insignificant, it's just not as big as I thought it would be. Of course, Gunsmith, quality of life. Shooting a weak spot. Weak spot damage, more stacks. Mostly just the stacks, because I'm not really reloading during the fight. Close enemy, he's a close enemy, 5 max stacks. Close enemy, 20%. Quality of life. Ricochet, necessary for phase 1. Well, it's not necessary, but I am using reflective armor, which we'll get to in a second. But this definitely makes a big difference in how long phase 1 lasts. Class Freak, of course, I'm mutated, so let's reduce those effects. Curator, if I were using a bauble, it would last twice as long. I would probably use Leader in this case, just for the XP. My armor is Vulcan, just incidentally. It doesn't have to be. But this is the chest. Troubleshooters, intelligence through Hiker Reflective. Intelligence is the XP, but also it does make the plasma shoot a little harder. Not a lot, just a very little bit harder. The Enclave plasma. Reflective armor, of course, is there to reflect in phase 1. Medic pump is there to stim pack every time I drop below 50% health. So if you're below 50% health, I think it'll hit it. But if you start above 50% health, it'll hit as soon as you drop below. Then if that sends you back above 50%, it'll hit it again if you drop again below 50%. So you could go up and down past that 50% threshold, and it'll keep hitting a stim pack every time. It's nice. It's quality of life, so I don't have to keep spamming it. Troubleshooters and reflective. The others are just quality of life, and intelligence is a little bit more damage in XP. Troubleshooter's reflective. Troubleshooter's reflective. I'm using gibbled bracers for the hipfire accuracy and the scoped accuracy on both arms. Calibrated shocks just for carry weight. Troubleshooter reflective. And that's it. That's all there is to it. I'm can for both damage and for XP. So to that end, let's go grab a brain bomb. Let's see if that can. See if I can boost that a little bit more here. Let's see what that does. Probably won't add very much. Because like if I look at my Enclave Plasma, it's 220 energy damage, right? And if I take a Brain Bomb, everything's just sorted in a weird way. And now it is, watch it be amazing. Now it's 223, 3 more damage. Not a lot, but you know, if you add all the multipliers together, maybe. And that brings my int to 7. Hit this, now I'm at 49. If I did Berry Mentats, I would give even higher, but then I wouldn't use Psycho Buff. And Psycho Buff is going to give me probably a lot more damage. So let's see, the damage from taking that is I'm at 224. If I take a Berry Mentats, do I have Berry Mentats? Yeah, I did, okay. So Berry Mentats at 54 int, I'm now at 226, so it's just very, very minor. I'll try it with Berry Mentats and see, you know, maybe the damage is pretty significant. Hello, Jared. I'm awake in the middle of the night because I just woke up and had this in my head to test a few things. Okay. Swap back over to number 1.
This is an automated message. Evacuation is in progress. Please proceed to the nearest exit in an orderly manner.
Of course, I am getting a little bit more int from the casual. So that's good. So I'm at 53 int, and that gives me 226. I'm going to replace that Berry Mentats with a Psycho Buff, though.
Alert.
Because the extra int is really insignificant. Oh, because of the Psycho Buff, right? Is that what that does? That's pretty significant. If the Psycho Buff just brought that to 250, the extra 25 damage or 25% damage. Should take another stim pack, but it didn't. If I had 20%, it should. Right there we go. Okay, swap and scope and go. It's so jumpy. 53 seconds. Could be better.
Warning, security bunker online.
Well, that was fun. That's enough testing for now. Other things. I think Furious or Troubleshooters. Furious, if you just want to use it generally, like if I wanted to use this weapon out in the world, I would put, you know, Furious on it. Because I would put Bloodied, but I'm not a Bloodied build on this one. I do have a Bloodied Plasma. So this one right here. This is my out and about weapon that also happens to have a stabilized stock. So I would use this weapon to, you know, just quest and stuff. It's quite a good weapon. Anyway, that's it. I'll see you later.